Mary Murphy is an incredible woman. I met her, I would say, a year ago now, and the first thing was that reminded me she was my grandmother.
I was a little shy at first. I've never been to a pantry before. I'm a widow now, I'm twice widowed. I'm on a very low income, and I have a lot of expenses trying to run this place. My husbands were always able to provide for me. This time around, it's only me. And it's pretty scary when you live alone and you have 6 cats to look out for and doctor bills to pay for them when they get sick.
Mary first came to us because she was a survivor of Sandy.
Hurricane Sandy, that was a rough one. I could see it coming, and I was on the telephone with my daughter in the kitchen.
Her daughters offered to take her out of the home, hold her up until the storm rolled over, but she's a strong Irish woman. She didn't want to do it. She didn't want to go.
Then I get off the phone, looked out the door, and there was 4 feet of water out there already. That would look like the ocean. The ocean, imagine, had come to visit me.
But then she woke up the next morning, and the bay was in her front yard. It was in her basement. It had destroyed the burner. It had completely knocked out electricity, knocked out the heat.
I used hand warmers to keep warm. My feet used to freeze. I'd put the hand warmers in between 2 pairs of socks, and that sort of defrosted my feet.
For someone who's in her 80s, it's not safe, but she didn't evacuate. After Hurricane Sandy, our volunteer staff going door to door, telling people, hey, we're here.
Letting people know that, you know, if you need help now, and go down and visit them and you know, they'll help you.
Losing 2 husbands, she's had the income that they were bringing in is now gone. She lives by herself. Her family helps when they can, but they have their own families to raise. So Mary does come here every week. It's significant in making her ends meet.
Every time I go down, they give me some, the dry food and the wet food for the cats, and it's a wonderful help. We're all God's children, and you should love each other, you know, try to help each other. And Long Island Care is doing just that. They are helping people. I just hope that there'll always be a Long Island Care.
There are more unemployed and homeless veterans in Suffolk and Nassau counties than in all the rest of New York State. Huge, huge numbers. We just don't realize that there are, because these are not veterans that are sitting in the street looking like bums. And they are starving for employment, for being productive members of society, for anything that says that they are a human being. One of the first vets I met in this program was Carlton Kopp.
Well, I was an Air Force commander and I was earning good money. I was working for the federal government.
And for Carlton, what's holding him back are his life problems.
I went through a difficult divorce situation, and after a custody battle which expended nearly all my financial resources, I was successful in getting custody of my daughter. I decided that when I got her back, I needed to take some time off from work because it was important for me to reintegrate her back into the neighborhood. And with my finances nearly expended, we all need to eat and to survive, and I learned about Long Island Cares through a local food pantry.
He's learning to be a single dad. That's a big deal, so I've talked to him about being a single parent and how important it is for his daughter to see him actually working and not just being a dad.
A time has come where I need to get back to work. As I said, I earned a very good salary and I think I'm marketable. I'm starting to get into the Vets Work program. She's sending me emails all the time and she's helping me find work again. You know, when you're in a difficult situation and there are people there to help you, of course, my pride was at stake, but it was also allowing people who want to help people to help somebody.
What makes me happy is just to see the veterans grow within the program, to watch them gain skills and gain confidence.
I was there to be helped by them, and it would make them feel good about supporting their mission and helping somebody.
The Balzanis, when they heard about the storm, they did the smart thing and evacuated.
We were over in Deer Park at my mother-in-law's, and everything was fine there.
And they watched everything happening on the news.
And we see water coming all the way up to Montauk Highway, and we're thinking we better go home. We drove down to Amityville to see our home. We get closer and we see the water. So we park on my car and we start walking through the water.
And we came in and it just was total chaos.
We lost everything we owned and worked for all our life. It was humbling to say the least.
And their home was destroyed overnight. They weren't prepared for, and none of us were prepared for what Sandy was going to do to us and what Sandy is still doing to us. They had to deal with living in this situation they weren't used to and raising a son who was completely traumatized.
My son wasn't eating and he had lost 10 pounds and he wasn't looking well. We had this woman come, she was like Santa Claus, and she just kept bringing bags and bags of things.
At that point, I was like, all right, let's get a tree. We got a little tree, you know, and we put up some ornaments.
And she told me about Long Island Cares.
And I knew about the organization, but I work, I got a job, my wife works, she got a job. Never thought that I'd be in a situation where I'd have to get help from Long Island Cares or I'd be working with Long Island Cares.
And I think that's the attitude a lot of people all over the world have, especially here on Long Island. You know, you have this family that 2.5 years ago did not need this, but then Sandy happened, and now they do. They're still struggling, they're still not making ends meet.
They told us that a place was coming local in Lindenhurst.
I'll be honest with you, it kind of choked me up that they reached out to us.
They offered us food and they offered my son not only one toy, but 2 toys under the tray.
They didn't know us, they didn't know my son.
I picked out a spy toy and I think Angry Birds.
And he was so happy, and it was just wonderful.
He didn't have much to smile about, and that was something that brought a smile to his face, which in turn made me happy, you know.
I think Long Island Cares is just a wonderful organization. Not even just for the food. I mean, you know, you don't even need to do that. You can just go in there, pop your head in there, and just say hello.
It took a hurricane to make me realize that, hey, you know, they're there just to help, whatever.
We had no direction. We didn't know what to do, and they were there for us. Never in a million years did I think I'd be going to a food bank, but Long Island Cares was there to help us.